Children, okay. This is your preparation for bitterballen. I'm gonna make the shrimp ones, but the other ones are not that different. So my fully equipped kitchen, well, not really. For the shrimp ones, there's a couple of things we need: cream, full fat milk, 50 grams of flour, an equal amount of butter. And also for the other recipes, just follow the amounts of butter and flour, because that will create the thickness of the bitterballen. So like I wrote, I'm going to use gelatin. So if you are really fussed about not using animal products, there are alternatives. This will help you a lot in getting the right stiffness in the roux that you're making and making the bitterballen. Obviously, the shrimp, there they are. So as you can see, these are the tiny ones. And the bitterballen are like this size. And if you have these jumbo shrimps in it, it won't fit. So it also applies if you're making the mushroom ones, then make sure to cut them really fine. So you won't have these really massive chunks in them, and actually that won't work. They will stick out and it will ruin your fat, and you'll cry and want to die. Additionally, an egg. We're gonna split the yolk out of that later on. I got fish fond. A stock, we would only need half of this, and like I wrote, if you buy the good quality stuff, you will really find that back in the flavor. All right, so we're gonna start with the butter, and let me put you here, and hopefully you can see. So we start with butter. Into the pan and melt that. So don't put it too high, just let it melt. Don't let it become brown. And this will take a while. My stove is really slow, so it takes a while. I'm gonna pause you for now or cut this out. Let me show you quickly how this is coming along. You see it's not going fast. I'm using a medium heat. Again, otherwise the butter will start to become brown and you can start all over again. So as you see, butter is almost melted. That means I can add the flour. So this is just all-purpose flour. I'm whisking it in. And just keep on stirring just a little bit. You can show you it now. It looks like this. So all the flour is dissolved in the butter, and leave it up on the stove for a couple of minutes. But not too high, it shouldn't become brown. So meanwhile, I will add the milk, and like I said, I have a biological full fat milk, and we need 200 mils of this, and I put stripes on it for easy measurement, because once you put something in these stupid things, you cannot read it anymore. So I'm going to add 200 mils of this. There we go. We will give the mixture a stir. Give this a little shake and add 200 mils of fish stock. So both are going back in the fridge. Just a little stir. And while we're at it, have a little wine. It will make everything easier. Alright, we can now start with putting in the stock and milk mixture, just little by little. So while stirring, just add a little bit of it. It will sizzle a little, and you will see it will immediately get thicker. I'll show you that. You see it immediately gets thicker. But keep on stirring and keep on adding little bits of the milk and stock mixture. Once you just pour it in a little bit, don't go wild, because you will find splatters everywhere in your kitchen. That's also why I'm wearing this apron. Like you see, I add in a little bit, give it a soft stir and go quicker. This way you won't have any lumps in it. And the more you put into it, the longer it takes before it thickens, as it needs to heat up. I'll let it warm a little bit. Check my messages in the meanwhile. I'm going to add a little bit of water, cold water. Not to the mixture, but just into a bowl, where I'm going to add the gelatin. So I'm going to put in 2 leaves, and those need to soak a little bit. It's important that you use cold water. If you use warm water, it will dissolve and you cannot find them back. turn up the heat a little bit. All this time I've been using a medium heat. So and let me show you this. You can see it's a nice and smooth mixture right now. But you see it's still quite thin, so quite liquid. So need to heat up a little longer and it will thicken it easily. Meanwhile, I had prepared another cup for 50 ml of cream. So just fill it up until the stripe. And just keep on stirring. I have another bowl prepared. Well, actually, I just took it out of the cupboard, which I'm going to use for an egg yolk. So I'm going to split this egg. I'm not planning directly on using the white, but I'm just going to save it. Just maybe I'll use it later. Out. So we just need the yolk. There it goes. Aside. And then I'm going to add the cream. Meanwhile, this is thickening nicely. And I'll show you in a bit. So we got the egg yolk and the cream in here. Just going to loosen that up until it's completely mixed. I'm just using a fork for that. Keep on stirring this. It's getting thicker and thicker. Alrighty, got that sorted. Alright, let me show you the substance that we created so far. You can see it's thickening nicely. It's bubbling a little bit, which is good. So here. Now it's time to add the egg yolk and the cream. I'm going to take it off the heat real quickly, and once I add it, I keep on stirring real quickly. Alright, so that's in. There I got my leaves of gelatin that were soaking in water. I'm going to squeeze them by hand and also add them into the mixture. And you will notice that they will quickly dissolve. I'm going to turn the heat off. And as you can see, it now has a really nice warm white color, not to be confused with paint. Keep on stirring. Can put this away. And finally can add the shrimp. I had taken them out of its container already to drain all the excess water that was still on there, because we want the least amount of water added to the shrimp. The main ingredient. Stir it into it. Then Tabasco. If you don't have Tabasco, you can also add just a splash of cayenne pepper or chili pepper, whatever ground pepper you have. But I like a little bite. So officially you do just a couple of drops. As you can see, I have been quite generous because I like the spiciness of this. And in that sense, I'm not a real Berliner because Berliners do not eat spicy. And then it's a matter of trying and tasting. Like I said, I like spiciness, so I'm going to add a bit more of Tabasco. Pepper. And just add enough to match your taste. Now, do remember, because we're going to deep fry this, and while deep frying, it will lose taste. So add as much salt as you like, and then add just a little bit more, because it will lose that flavor. Also add salt at the last moment, because some of the fish stocks or stocks in general, they already contain quite a lot of salt. And I don't want to be responsible for you burning your kitchen, but also don't want to be responsible for kidney failure. Alright, and taste again. I'm adding a bit more pepper. A tiny bit more salt. Right, let me show you again. This is how it looks like right now. You see it's pretty thick, but now it's still hot. It will get thicker when it cools down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour this into an empty container, empty yogurt container. You must like this. It's Petit. This is Greek yogurt, or was Greek yogurt. And then I'm just going to let it cool off. Make sure to put on a lid, otherwise you'll get a hard top layer on it, which you don't want. And just let it cool off. Once it's at room temperature, put it in the fridge and let it stay there. Also, this when you prepare this in advance, it will help the flavors to mix. As you can see, we're very basic. There's hardly any spices. There goes my whisk. Hardly any spices in it. It's just a basic. The shrimp which will do them for themselves. All right, like I said, if you have larger shrimp, then make sure to cut them to tiny bits, so it will be nicely fitting into the bowl. And that's all for now. Thank you. Bye.